Hey everybody, I hope you guys are healthy and safe. So this footage you're watching right now is shot with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. I'm shooting this with the ultra wide angle camera of the main camera system. Usually if you shoot with the ultra wide angle camera of a smartphone, you wouldn't be able to see yourself because the ultra wide angle camera is usually on the back of the phone. But I'm able to see myself right now because the Galaxy Z Fold 2 has a unique design with a screen on the front and the back. So that means I am shooting myself the main camera system, but I can see myself. You know, we already know the appeal of the Galaxy Fold 2. It's basically a tablet that can fold in half and fit into your pocket. But this is a new use case that I didn't expect to have too. The ability to have a really easy vlogging camera setup. So now when I attend press events, and I need to just film a quick video, you know, saying, hey, look, I'm outside the Apple headquarters, or I'm outside, you know, this tech venue right here. I can just do this with the Z Fold 2. I don't have to bother setting up a whole camera. And the good thing is, I don't have the buds anymore, but if you have the Galaxy Buds Live, you can use those as Bluetooth mics. So you can get superior audio quality. Now there's also a second way to film with the Z Fold 2 that allows it to be hands-free. Okay, so this is the second way to film yourself using the Galaxy Z Fold 2 completely hands-free, because the hinge now stays in place, so I can put the Fold 2 down on a table like it's a mini laptop, and I can film myself. And you know, if I don't want to film myself, this is still useful for hands-free video calls. So I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2 as my daily driver for almost 2 weeks now. But the thing is, even before I got my hands on this phone, I was already very vocal on Twitter and even on YouTube saying that I'm pretty sure this is going to be my favorite phone of the year. I know that's not professional to do, and some of you guys have called me out on YouTube saying, how can you say this phone you haven't touched is going to be your favorite phone of the year? Well, I made that statement because I had used the original Galaxy Fold as my daily driver for maybe a total of like 4 months, and I loved this phone so much, and I knew that all Samsung to do is just make a couple of changes to the Fold 1 and it would just be almost a nearly flawless phone to me, and that's almost what they have done with the Fold 2. So the first biggest improvement that I needed was the outside display. I mean, look at how much larger it is compared to the Galaxy Fold 1. So this is 4.5 inches on the original, now it's been increased to 6.2 inches. It stretches all the way across. This is not just an aesthetic change, but it really changes how you use these devices. With the Galaxy Fold 1, I always felt like this phone is really a tablet that can pass for a smartphone for short periods of time. I say for short periods of time because this screen really is only good enough to do reading. You can't really type on it. It's a little bit too cramped. The keyboard is too small. So you're always getting typos when you're trying to type on this. So that means anytime you have to do any real typing, whether you're responding to an email or writing a WhatsApp message that's longer than just 2 words, I have to unfold the phone. So the Fold 2, by just virtue of increasing the screen size, is not just vertically, but also it's a little bit wider left to right. That makes it an okay typing experience now. It's still not the greatest typing experience. The keyboard is still slightly cramped, but it is doable now to type on this without getting massive amounts of typo. In fact, I've now found myself using the outside screen almost as much as the inside screen, particularly when I'm outside, because it's just easier. It's a more secure grip using a phone like this than like this. Now, of course, whenever you can unfold the screen, you will definitely want to do it because this screen is absolutely amazing to look at. It's a 7.6 inch display that refreshes at 120 Hz. The aspect ratio is actually slightly weird. It's kind of like a square-ish aspect ratio, but Samsung's done a great job of optimizing apps for the screen. And a lot of apps, you actually get a tablet view, like meaning you get 2 different planes. For example, if you go into File app, you have files on the right side and you can scroll through your different folders on the left. And if you jump into Spotify, you get this 2-pane layout too, with your music controls right here on the left. And you can go through your playlists or your podcasts and look at album art right here. So most apps actually work very well with this aspect ratio, but some apps do not. For example, Instagram, You notice that there are these bars on the left and right side. This is called pillar boxing. It's because Instagram is an app that really needs to be in a rectangular aspect ratio. And also one funny thing, I mean, it's just a little funny quirk. You still control Instagram itself by, you have to touch within the window of the app. But then if you want to interact with the rest of the phone, like you want to go back out, swiping from the side of Instagram doesn't do anything. Instead, you have to swipe from the edge of the screen. So the hinge, like I said, has been drastically improved. It now stays in place at various angles, and there are these brushes inside that anytime you unfold, it's actually sweeping outwards. So that means if there are actually dust and small particles that might be in danger of getting in, the brooms inside will sweep them out. So I don't really have concerns about the Fold 2's durability. In fact, even though this phone isn't officially water resistant, it's been raining in Hong Kong and I've been using it in the rain and I wasn't really that paranoid. Now, it wasn't heavy rain, but basically if it's drizzling a little bit, I feel like I can still use this phone because I think it's very premiumly constructed. So the Fold 2 is a little bit thick at about 18.5 millimeters in thickness when folded, and it weighs 282 grams, so it definitely is a little bit heftier than a traditional smartphone, but it still fits into my pocket fine and I can carry this as my daily driver. Okay, looking at the camera, so there's a triple camera system on the back. All three of these are 12 megapixels, so this camera system is not as powerful as the one seen in the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. You don't have that periscope zoom lens, so that means any zoom done on this camera, it's only optical up to 2x. Anything beyond 2x, it's digital zoom. And you can really only max out at 10, and really anything over 5 starts to look a little bit janky. The main camera is a 12 megapixel sensor, not that 108 sensor that Samsung's been using. But you know what? It might actually be better because that 108 megapixel sensor still has a very narrow depth of field, will basically lose focus sometimes if you're not careful. You don't have that issue here. Focusing on this is really sharp. I'll just show you some photo samples. By and large, everything looks great. But if I were to nitpick, the Fold 2's camera system is not the best on the market. The Huawei P40 Pro Plus has a much better zooming system, but that's really nitpicky. For the most part, I have no complaints about this camera system. As you can see from the beginning of the video, when you shoot with ultra wide angle camera, stabilization is excellent. Even if you shoot the main camera with a tighter crop, stabilization is still very good. Now in terms of performance, there's a Snapdragon 865 Plus in here with 12 gigs of RAM, so there's not much more to say. This thing is not going to lag on you at all. Samsung software is also very smart in switching between the small and the main screen. You probably already know about app continuity, meaning if you open an app on the small screen and then you open up the screen, it automatically opens up on a larger screen. Gaming on the screen obviously looks great, as well as watching videos. Now as for battery life, I gotta admit I was a little bit concerned considering the screens are both larger, and on top of that you have a 120 Hz refresh rate here. But I'm happy to report that the 4,500 mAh battery in here is still enough to last this thing all day for me. Now just barely, so on a heavier day, say if I leave the house in the morning and I'm out all day, I will make it home by maybe 11 p.m. at night with maybe like 15-20% battery life left. So that's a little bit scary, but still enough to last a solid 12 to 14 hours of real heavy regular use. So I know that there are still some people who don't quite believe in the foldable. Their logic is that why pay $2,000 for this when you can use the same money on, say, an iPad and a smartphone? But there's a benefit of having a two-in-one device that's a smartphone, because your smartphone is always with you. For example, I'm an independent freelance writer and editor and YouTuber too. So I don't have a set office. I work kind of anywhere, anytime. So sometimes it could be a Saturday afternoon and I'm at a coffee shop or at dinner, and I randomly get an email saying, hey, can you look at this document or this contract? With the Fold 2, I can take it out of my pocket, unfold, and have a 7.6-inch screen that really, it's large enough for me to read and edit documents easily. And on top of that, it's also very easy to type on the screen because it's so wide, so the on-screen keyboard gives you more space to type on. I can two-thumb type on this faster than I can a smartphone for sure. Now, if I didn't have this device and I want to always be ready to work, I would have to carry an iPad, and you can't carry an iPad in your pocket, right? You have to carry a bag then. And wouldn't it be a little bit annoying to always have to carry an iPad or a laptop with you everywhere you go? But with this is always on me anyway. Unless I'm swimming or at the gym, this is always on me. And a few days ago, I actually wrote an entire article for x8developers.com on the Fold 2. Now, I had a little bit of help in the form of a foldable Bluetooth keyboard, and just with these two things, I can do work and write an entire article anytime, anywhere. I really feel like in the future, this is the direction we're all gonna go in. Maybe like 3, 5, 6 years down the line, whenever Apple does it, it's gonna go mainstream. All of us will have something that sits in our pocket, or if you're a lady, in your purse. You know, take it out, unfold once or twice, and have a screen that's like maybe 10 inches, 12 inches. I really think that's the direction we're going, especially with the current pandemic, forcing more and more people to work at home. I think companies are realizing that it's kind of pointless to force people to be in an office chained to a desk 9 to 5. I think we're moving towards a future where all of us are working remotely. And when you're working remotely, you want a device that can be with you at all times, yet be enough to do work, and the Galaxy Fold 2 is that. Now, ultimately, this is still a relatively pricey machine at $2,000 US. In Hong Kong, it starts at 16,998 Hong Kong dollars. Now, some people are gonna scoff at that price, and I think it's fair. You know, people have different values for things and how much money they can spend. It's just a decision you have to make. For me personally, I will gladly pay $2,000 for this. I think $2,000 for this is a much better deal than like $3,000 for a laptop or $1,200 for a phone. But in terms of reviewing this from a gadget geek's perspective, I have absolutely no complaints. This is my phone of the year, and I know it's only September, but barring a crazy surprise from Apple or Huawei, I don't see anything topping this for the foreseeable future. I'm someone who switches phones every like 10 to 12 days usually. But I have a feeling my SIM card's gonna stay in this for the long haul, at least for the next 4 or 5 months. So anyway, that's it for this review of the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in content like this, please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more stuff coming up, including from Realme and Huawei and Xiaomi too. So take care, stay healthy, thanks for watching.
Don't sweat the technique.